Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
LateNightSportsRadio.com. The show is 87 Sports Fans Live. Keith Grieve and Steve Taylor here from 87sportsfans.com, which we have newly defined rules at the old website we should probably talk about. Mr. Taylor will be covering the AFC, and I will just be sticking to NFC football. We welcomed Ranan Schulman to the staff. He'll be writing for the Western Conference. Bob Sullivan will be covering the Eastern Conference. John Maloras covering the National League. And more authors being added seemingly at every turn. So stay tuned to 87sportsfans.com for some entertaining takes on the world of sports. Entertaining is probably the best word.
And really, between our site, the Fantasy Greek site, all our radio shows, and all our Twitter and Facebook accounts, we are a very entertaining sports conglomerate that I think everyone should get on board with.
You're using big words again.
I am. There's so many resources available to fans of every sport. I know we're right now still primarily focused on football, which will peter off a little bit over the next few weeks. Now that the season's done and baseball is going to start kicking in and the NBA playoffs are going to be here before you know it. But it just, I don't know. I was really impressed, and I was actually found myself tweeting last night. And for those of you that don't know, I am one of the worst Twitter people on the planet Earth because I will send out a tweet like once every 2 weeks.
You don't tweet.
Not at all. And I started to yesterday a little bit during the Super Bowl, and I gotta try to do it more often, especially because I'm putting out a second printing of the book, and I'm working hard on the second one. So I need to start drawing some more attention to not only that, but also what we're doing here with the website and everything. Because for those of you that don't know, we've been working hard on this, especially Mr. Grieve, who's been the heart and soul of this whole venture for quite a while, but we've been working hard on this for a few years now, and it's nice to see it finally start to truly flourish.
Yes. Good times, noodle salad. As I like to say. All right, so
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
My favorite quote.
Top of the hour, Jim Saranteas from thefantasygreek.com will be joining us to rehash the Super Bowl. We'll go over our preseason predictions, which will be fun. It'll just be fun. 585-633-7487 is the number to call in. Even if you are listening to this on demand and you want your voice to be heard, leave a voice message. We will get it on the next show. 585-633-7487. Also at latenightsportsradio.com. We have message boards, so if you're listening to this and you want to keep the discussion going, utilize it. All right, getting back to the NBA action.
Could we possibly start with the Cleveland Cavalier game?
The world is your oyster. Let's start with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They beat the Philadelphia 76ers 97-84. For the 76ers, Robert Covington. It's bad when you look at a box score and the player's first name doesn't come to mind. Mm-hmm. That's how you know your roster is depleted. Robert Covington leading the way tonight with Jeremy Grant for the 76ers with 18 points. Grant chips in 7 boards. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kyrie Irving, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. LeBron James, 18 points, 11 assists. Kevin Love, only 5 points, but 15 boards. Timothy Mozgov, 10 points, 8 boards. J.R. Smith, 12 points. Iman Shumpert, 11 points. Matthew Dellavedova. I butchered that, but in Soviet Union, basketball shoots you. 12 points. I don't even know if the guy's Russian. His name sounds Russian. Anyway. Well, what about this game attracted your attention?
Kevin Love. Well, first off, Michael Carter-Williams. You know, I feel bad for the guy. He's a very talented kid.
Not at 1 for 9. Can't say he's talented when you shoot 1 for 9.
That's the part that's killing me. I'm wondering, it just seems like his ability and his talent has been sucked from him by being on this god-awful team as Philadelphia 76ers. But the thing that really caught my attention was Kevin Love. 15 rebounds is awesome. You know, that's still great. But you have a player who is, you know, a 20 to 25 point a game scorer. He's been most of his career. He's a guy that after this season, whatever team he's on, be it Cleveland or wherever else he goes, is going to get a max deal. He's going to get a $100+ million contract. You're playing against the worst team in the league, in the Philadelphia 76ers. And you go 1 for 7 in 33 minutes. Now, I think that's one of the big problems with Cleveland right now is Kevin Love is getting the same treatment that happened in Miami with, God, I am so tired I can't even think right now. You know who I'm saying. Chris Bosh. He is turning into the Chris Bosh of Cleveland. Because Bosh, for those of you that don't remember, when he was in Toronto, he was an MVP candidate. And then he goes to Miami and becomes a third-tier role player who people were questioning if he was going to even continue his career because he was playing so poorly. And now, with LeBron gone, he's having kind of a resurgence this year. But you look at Kevin Love, the exact same thing has happened to him so far this year. And I know the team is turning things around and they're starting to play well. And, you know, I still think they'll be fine. But 5 points in 33 minutes against the worst team in the league is just terrifying. If I was him, if I was that player.
He only took 7 shots.
That's the problem. But even only taking 7 shots, for someone of his skill level to go 1 for 7, I expect more from him. You know, he's always had a high percentage, a high shooting percentage.
How about this? You ready for this?
Yes.
He took 7 shots, none after the first quarter.
See, there you go. And he wasn't in foul trouble.
I'm looking at the shot chart. He took 7 shots in the first quarter, and then pretty much shut it down. It looks like we didn't watch the game. We'll just be honest, we didn't watch the game. But
but how do you not? I mean, basketball, and you and I know this, is like any other sport where you have to get into a rhythm, and a rhythm isn't necessarily a game time, you know, game to game. It's a rhythm can last you the entire season. You know, the more shots you take, the more offense that flows through you, especially for someone like him who is a scorer, it'll transition from game to game, and it'll become something that, you know, you'll gain confidence throughout the year and whatnot. Only taking 7 shots in the first quarter and not shooting again the rest of the game, I think is a huge mistake. You're underutilizing. You're not using. It's almost like a muscle that if you don't use it, it'll atrophy. And that's what I'm worried about with Kevin Love. It just seems like they're not using him even remotely to what they should and what any other team. I mean, I can only imagine there are teams out there like the Lakers that tried to get him that are dying right now because they're like, please be on our team and we will let you be the man and take, you know, 20 shots a game, 30 shots a game. And it's almost sad the way he's being played right now.
I know the Cavaliers won by 13, but they ought to be grateful that Philadelphia couldn't throw a rock in the ocean tonight. They gave the ball up 11 times between LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. 5 turnovers for Irving, 6 for LeBron. Robert Covington, 7 steals. Mm-hmm. 7 steals from the small forward position.
And that's the thing. Yeah, they won by 13 points, but once again, they were playing against the worst team in the league, a team that's 5-21 on the road. You know, the Sixers are atrocious. They're the kind of team that people are saying that college squads like Kentucky would have a good shot at beating. And you have, you know, this is the kind of game that the Cavaliers should have just destroyed them. And 13 points, in all honesty, is not being destroyed in this league.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. It's good to see that they're turning things around, but it's still concerning that they're just not playing the way they need to be playing.
Right. LeBron James, 6 of 17, and only 2 of his makes coming from outside the paint. There's a lot of X's on the shot chart right now. It's a rough day at home. You can't have that.
Yeah,
you just can't have it.
And 45% against any normal team is not bad. But once again, you're playing against an awful defensive team. You need to put up a little better than that. I mean, luckily they are bad, and they shot only 40% respectively themselves. But
Sixers weren't awful tonight. They played good defense, creating turnovers.
Yeah.
Steals.
But I've watched a lot of games with Cleveland. Is it creating turnovers, or is it more, like I said, like you said, we didn't see this game tonight, but I'm wondering if it's more of what I've seen, which isn't necessarily creating turnovers as much as Cleveland's just throwing the ball away.
Yeah. Well, they shot 45% from the floor, 44% from the three-point line. They put up 27 threes, 15 of 22 from the free throw line. Out-rebounded the Sixers only by 6, 43 to 37. They each had 11 offensive rebounds. The Sixers actually had 1 more assist. They had 8 more steals, 1 more block. The Philly had 3 more turnovers. Cleveland is lucky. Philadelphia actually is such a bad team, like you were saying. That's the only reason they won this game. And if you're Cleveland, I know you haven't all been all on the floor all that much because of LeBron's back and this one's injury and whatever, blah blah blah. And you didn't have or who was their center that went down for the season? Anderson Varejao. Mm-hmm. So Mozgov coming in was a big piece. I get that, but it's February, kids. You guys got to start showing some semblance of hitting your stride. A win streak in the Eastern Conference doesn't mean anything.
No.
I guess I should shut my mouth because I'm not sure how many Western Conference opponents they played during that streak. They're on a 11th straight. This is 11 game win streak now, beating Philadelphia. But to have a good record in the Eastern Conference doesn't wow me. I still say that if they, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, and this is coming from a 3-point shooter. If the NBA wants to fix, and actually looking at what you were saying, 1, 2, 3. This is Steve's trying to impress you.
6 Western Conference teams that they played during the streak, but that includes the Lakers, Utah, Sacramento. So the only real solid team they beat was Portland and the Clippers, but the Clippers showed tonight that they might not be as solid as we thought. But to fix the NBA, I think one step that would help a lot is getting rid of the 3-point line.
That'll never happen.
Become a crutch.
It'll never happen.
I know it'll never happen, but if they really want to fix the NBA and shake things up, getting rid of the 3-point line would force teams to play smarter, more like a team, because it's